YouTube. Yeah. All right, I think we're ready to get cooking here. Nope, that's not right. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, let's see here. Firefox. All right. Let me see if I have anything tagged. First up here. Oh, look at that. Home sellers now outnumber buyers by 530,000, the largest gap ever recorded. Wow. And yet, home prices are still outrageous. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I know Trump has got something going today. What it was. Second.
Ukraine.
Okay. Starting out with Ukraine. Zelensky said he had a very good Christmas Day call with who dis? Yeah. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky is saying the latest 20-point peace plan floated by the American side is, and this is a quote, quite decent. He posted on social media about a Christmas Day call Zelensky did. Today we had a very good conversation with President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. We are truly working 24/7 to bring closer the end of this brutal Russian war against Ukraine and to ensure that all documents and steps are realistic, effective, and reliable. The day after tomorrow, the 28th of December, Zelensky could pop up at Mar-a-Lago to hash things out further with President Trump. According to the Kiev Post, the Russians rejected a Christmas Day ceasefire, but appear vulnerable along the front lines, including here, we've got this map, in the northeast of Ukraine, where Russians are apparently cut off from supply lines. The head of communications for Ukraine's joint forces tells the Kiev Post they are surrendering. There have been cases of foreign mercenaries for the Russians giving themselves up. Supply by air bridge alone is not something that allows them to hold out for long. That is why the main sticking point for the Ukrainian side right now are American security guarantees. Zelensky says that Ukraine and the U.S. are 90% of the way there with these security guarantees, but he wants to know what the Ukrainian military can count on from the U.S. before agreeing to something that the White House can bring to the Kremlin.
Well, the Ruskies got trapped, huh? Look at that. Yeah. Off on their own. Okay, major breaking on Christmas Day. President Trump strikes. That's right, this was going on last night. Striking Nigerian terrorist scum who have been killing Christians. Nice Christmas gift for Nigerian Christians, I guess. All right, what did he say? Tonight in my direction, as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years, even centuries. I've previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. Very good. Very, very good.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen. They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And
Indeed. Okay.
Breaking moments ago, President Trump announcing a powerful strike against the Islamic State in Nigeria. Let's go back to Madison Scarpino live in West Palm Beach with the breaking details. Madison?
Yeah, Mike, President Trump says that strike was deadly, and he says it's because they've been targeting and viciously killing primarily Christians. Now, he just made the announcement on Truth Social saying in part, quote, I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. Now, Mike, as many of our viewers know, this is an issue in Africa that has caught the president's attention for a bit now. He's previously lashed out on the country's government for having done nothing to stop the killing. His administration has even met with the Nigerian officials to discuss the issue, even threatening to cut off aid to the country. So some major breaking news on this Christmas night. We are expecting a lot of reaction from Congress, and we're following it all. Mike?
Madison Scarpino doing a great job on the breaking news. Madison, thanks a lot.
Okay, President Trump posts incredible Christmas message. Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein. Gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot. Falsely claimed they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame, of course, President Donald J. Trump, who was actually the only one who did drop Epstein, and long before it became fashionable to do so. When their names get brought out in the ongoing radical left witch hunt, plus one lowlife Republican Massey, and it is revealed that they are Democrats all, there will be a lot of explaining to do, much like there was when it was made public that the Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam, and had nothing to do with Trump. The failing New York Times, among many others, was forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now, the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished. But sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. What the heck? Okay, then.
Jessica, it was around 6 o'clock.
Trump and Pete Hegseth deliver a stark warning to jihadist terrorists in Nigeria. More strikes coming if they don't stop the slaughter.
Eastern time tonight, about an hour ago, that President Trump announced that the U.S. had launched strikes inside of Nigeria, targeting and killing elements of ISIS in the northwestern part of the country. We don't know how many people were injured, how many were killed in this American strike. What we do know is President Trump says the reason the strike was launched is because he says Christians within Nigeria, as you mentioned, have been targeted, not just over the last year, but really over the last several years. He broke this news on Truth Social with a pretty lengthy post. I'm going to just read to you the back half of that post. He says, quote, "I previously warned these terrorists that if they do not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes. Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues." We also saw the Secretary, Pete Hegseth, say, quote, that the president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. He says the Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come, and grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. We know, because we've confirmed with a Pentagon official, that the Nigerian government was working with the United States. There was approval, and they worked in conjunction on these strikes. So that is an important caveat to this story here. Just some background. In Nigeria over the last year, sectarian violence has continued to be a major problem. Tens of thousands of Nigerians have been either kidnapped or killed, both Christians.
Yep, it's a shithole.
And Muslims targeted and killed by terrorist organizations like ISIS and like Boko Haram. In fact, human rights NGO International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law says that this year alone there were about 7,000 Christians that have been killed. Again, this has been ongoing essentially since 2009, when Boko Haram really established a foothold in Nigeria, Jessica. So we are seeing this killing, again, Muslims and Christians. But tonight, President Trump emphasizing the fact that Christians have been targeted and killed. He has been saying this for some time, that this might be a possibility. And tonight on Christmas, we are seeing American strikes within Nigeria. All right, Jessica.
Oh boy. All right. A meeting with President Trump will happen in the near future, Zelensky said on Friday, signaling progress in talks to end the war. Well, we'll see what kind of stupid shit he pulls at the last second to everything up. Customer recorded a disturbing scene. Oh yeah, the foot guy, toenail guy.
What's up, bro?
At a Dunkin' frickin' Donuts on a food prep surface.
So
sitting his ass on the surface where food is prepared, and then bringing his nasty ass foot up there, picking his toenails.
What's up, bro?
Never going to a Dunkin' again. Nope. That's done with. Nigerian government in a difficult position.
I mean, we do know that these strikes were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government. The Nigerian Foreign Ministry has come out to confirm the security cooperation with international partners, including, they said, the United States of America, in addressing the persistent threat of terrorism and violent extremism. The Nigerian government is in a difficult position because they have to firstly accept this coordination and this cooperation with the U.S. in order to get ahead of their growing terrorism problem. But they also have to actively denounce and reject the claims that come with that cooperation, that there is a Christian genocide in Nigeria, that Christian communities are persecuted or targeted by terrorism more than any other community. Now, just on Christmas Eve, we saw a bomb in a mosque, in a packed mosque in Maiduguri in the northeastern state of Borno in Nigeria. And I think that's kind of an example or a symbol of the fact that these terrorist strikes, these ISWAP, IS in West Africa province strikes, as well as Boko Haram attacks, do target Muslim communities in Nigeria. We've seen that over the last 15 years of their increased activity. So while these strikes may have been a successful move, it may have been successful coordination, they also come with President Trump saying that they've targeted ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria who've been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not even seen for many years, he said, and even centuries. And these kind of statements are expected from the Trump administration. He's been repeating them for the last few months, and in November he did threaten military intervention. What is also interesting on the U.S. side is how will MAGA factions respond to more foreign military intervention from the U.S. In just the span of a week. We saw him target ISIS, carry out ISIS strikes and hit ISIS targets in Syria at the end of last week, then hitting another tanker, and now these strikes in Nigeria. And I think this kind of does undermine his America First approach. And we've seen defections by Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've seen Trump loyalists come out and actively say that they don't want America involved in any other wars. And now these strikes, I think, will cause more and more contention and differences within the MAGA faction.
Yes, Nigeria. Oh, boy. Well, of course he's doing that. Eric Swalwell likens Jesus, Mary, and Joseph to illegal immigrants on Christmas. Oh, gross. Seriously? Really? Oh, yeah. There's going to be an ICE raid on the nativity scene. Totally. "14 people injured in a stabbing attack in a factory in central Japan." Whoa. During which an unspecified liquid was also sprayed. Oh gosh. What was the liquid? They don't know what it is yet? Spray-like liquid had also been used. What did the spray-like liquid do? Assume if it was used, it had a purpose. Armed with what is described as a survival knife. 38-year-old perp. They arrested him. Suspicion of murder. Seriously, injuries unknown. All victims remain conscious. At least 6 of the 14 victims have been sent to the hospital in a fleet of ambulances. Okay. Yeah. Weird. So 14. He injured 14 people, but not a single person died, huh? God for that. Oh my gosh. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Flanagan puts on a hijab and declares that Somalis built Minnesota.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy.
What?
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan.
What's your name?
Alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan.
Betty? Betty Flanagan?
And I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today. I am incredibly clear that the Somali...
Peggy? Is it Peggy? Sorry, I can't hear because someone's using the fucking sink upstairs. Can't hear a goddamn thing.
The community is part of the fabric of the state of Minnesota. I think about my friendship with Nimco. We've been friends for almost 25 years. And when I think of being part of Minnesota and growing up here, the Somali community has always been a part of my Minnesota. So I want to just encourage the community to know that we're with you. We've got your back. I am here shopping today, and just encourage other folks to show up, support our Somali businesses, support our immigrant neighbors. And I know that things are scary right now. And just know that there are more people who are looking out for you. There are more people who are here to support you than you know. I will continue to stand with the Somali community to be with you and to do all I can to return the friendship and community that the Somali community has shown me. Thank you so much.
Thing's been grinding for like 20 minutes straight. I can't hear a single thing I'm playing. Ridiculous. All right. Trump posts that federal employment has fallen off a cliff under his second term. Federal government has lost hundreds of thousands of jobs. Down by nearly 300K. Federal employment. Pretty good. Good start anyway. All right, church leaders up and down the UK reporting massive surges in attendance across all denominations, particularly among young people.
To church. Have you seen a rise in the numbers attending your services? Has there been a boost in congregations, do you think?
I mean, there really has, I have to say. I've been ordained for 15 years, and over that time there has been a sort of plateauing of church going, if not a little bit of decline, but certainly post-pandemic what we've seen across churches of every denomination, Catholic, Orthodox, and here in the Church of England, we've seen a significant rise in the numbers of people going to church. Last Christmas here we had nearly 2,000 people through the doors. Only a few years before it was knocking on at 400, 500. So we really have seen a huge growth in the number of people going to church, particularly young people actually.
That's so interesting. And you say post-pandemic. Do you think that that's part of why people are going? Are they seeking community when they were cut off from their loved ones and friends and anybody? They were completely isolated in lockdown. Do you think that's why people are seeking out connection somehow?
I think that is one of the big parts of it. I think post-pandemic there's been a sort of reset in society. People are thinking about things that really matter to them, the values that make them who they are. And of course, the Christian faith offers community, it offers purpose, it offers morality, it offers a sense of identity, which is linked not just to individual thought, but to a wider community of
Okay. Marco Rubio's canceled 95,000 visas this year. The start.
National student visa program in this country.
Well, at all of these visas, what we're looking at here is a standard of, are they breaking the term of their visa? Do they threaten national security? Are they committing crimes when they're here in the country? So 95,000, the three leading categories there are for assault, DUIs, and theft. Bottom line here is we are not going to have people here on visas that drive drunk on our streets, that assault our people, or that steal from our stores. We're not going to allow it. And if we have situations with student visas, for example, where students here on those visas are promoting terrorism or breaking our laws, that is grounds for revocation. A visa is a privilege. It is not a right. And that's what it means to have an America First visa policy.
National student visa program in this country.
Snoop Dogg's NFL Christmas halftime show, bringing Christmas back.
With every Christmas card I write.
Wow. Okay, Snoop Dogg.
May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases, and may all your Christmases be
All right. I'm in favor. Okay, Jesus in Times Square. Oh. Muslim immigrant from the Middle East named Ahmed al-Shami was operating a deli in Buffalo, New York. But look at that. He's been caught exchanging people's EBT cards for cash. Fraudster. At his trial, his wife, in a burqa, or a hijab, gives us all the middle finger, saying, fuck all you guys, fuck America.
You happy now? For Mr. Shami? All of you guys, America, it.
Strong words from the wife of this Lovejoy corner deli owner as she left his court arraignment today with their daughter throwing up the bird to cameras.
This defendant is accused of flagrantly abusing the public trust.
Grand jury indicted 37-year-old Ahmed al-Shami for food stamp fraud. Investigators say he would exchange money with individuals to use their EBT cards, then go to big box retailers to purchase items for his store. Transactions totaling almost $4,000.
He was selling Pepsi for 99 cents a 2-liter. You can't buy Pepsi for 99 cents for a 2-liter if you're an independent store owner. You have to charge more.
Buffalo Council member Richard Fontana lives near the deli. He says a lot of illegal activity has been going on at the store, and it has been a major problem for the Lovejoy community.
He was essentially the worst store owner I've seen in my 20 years in City Hall.
Wow. Oh, more fraud. Immigrants from Somalia have been buying homes in Minnesota. Each one of them a home that you now can't buy. Paying cash and saying they're being used as home health care. The state isn't checking on the homes, of course. Many just sit there empty and are billed to the state for services, making millions hand over fist every year.
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. Wow. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes, And these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars, and the government here in Minnesota is too lazy to go and check it out and to see if there's even clients.
It is literally their culture. This is the culture that they love, that they talk about loving so much.
Living in these
It is sick.
homes. The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Here in
It is a way of life for them. Learning, figuring out how to scam your way through life on the back of someone else's hard work. That is a way of life for these people. Wanting to import that is like height of stupidity.
Add up to. Why are they engaged?
Oh, for the love of God, it's thing, man. All right, we gotta scroll. Randomly skip us up the list, I guess. Nice. All right, what the hell? Seriously? Junk, dude. All right, down we go again. There we are. Okay, now Stephen Miller on Somalia.
Add up to. Why,
fucking shit.
Why are they engaged in all this? What is their objective here? It's the Somalification of America. In other words, when you see the state of Somalia, that's what they want for America at the end of the day, because it's easier to rule over an empire of ashes than it is for the Democratic Party to rule over a functioning, Western, high-trust society with a strong middle class. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalians. Once the elections were decided, right, by clan rivalries and ethnic feuds. Once that happened, the Democrat Party became permanently powerful in Minnesota. They became permanently powerful in the Twin Cities. That's their model for America, to make the whole country into a version of Somalia. And everything they do gets down to that. So when you ask me what I'm thankful for, this Thanksgiving, I praise God every day that Donald Trump is our president. And we've gone from 30% inflation, 20 million illegals, unlimited refugees.
Exactly what they want. DNC nearly 16 million in debt, burning cash, and hiding its 2024 loss autopsy. Still. Donors are fleeing while Republicans sit on almost $90 million. Not bad. Democrats are planning a second government shutdown in January in the hopes that it might help fundraising efforts. What, did they not learn after round one? Lord.
Teens in Minnesota are stealing cars all over the place. Keith Ellison looks at this and says, these criminals are stealing cars. What can we do about that? Oh, I know. I'll sue the car manufacturers for not making it harder to steal the cars. We got all these cars being
so ass-back. It's so cuckoo.
Stolen. Who's at fault for that? Oh, I know, the cars. Maybe if the cars hadn't been dressed like that, this wouldn't have happened. Teens.
Yep. People from across Africa have arrived in Ghana to board Igbo Noah's arks. That's right. There's an African prophet who claims that on Christmas Day, continuous heavy rainfall will begin, lasting 3 to 4 years, which will submerge the world and destroy humanity due to its sin. Never mind the fact that God said he would never do that again. I guess he didn't read that part? Wow. Why would anybody think importing any of these people is a good idea? They're all literally sub-retard level. And bring nothing but disease and stupidity. They offer us nothing. Like, why bring them? What is the point of that?
Unless you have 60 senators that are willing to close debate, you really don't get much done over there. And we've sent so many good pieces of
U.S. Senate is a black hole where bills disappear. Oh, yeah.
legislation over there to the Senate, to that black hole. I mean, it just disappears over there. And until we get a responsible Senate who is willing to step up, debate, and close debate, and approve things, then we're going to have to continue doing budget reconciliation to get those EOs done. And we have no problem in doing that. Unless you have 60 senators that are willing to close debate, you really don't get much done.
Yep. It begins for control of Congress in midterm elections.
Of Congress in next year's midterm elections. On the Senate side, a couple of key races are emerging in states not normally viewed as bellwethers. Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram has the story tonight.
Healthcare, the economy, the big, beautiful bill, all factors next fall. Democrats are focused on kitchen table issues. They hope that voters have buyer's remorse and flip the Senate.
They just don't have enough money in their pockets to pay the bills, to buy the medicine they need. Costs are skyrocketing. And Democrats, in 2026, you'll be hearing from us about costs over and over and over again.
Republicans bullish on maintaining Senate control.
I think you're going to see a remarkable 2026. I mean, we're excited about the prospects for the economy.
But there's GOP caution.
Typically, there are headwinds in a midterm election. You can't convince people of something they don't feel.
Retirements by Democratic senators in Michigan and Minnesota could create challenges for Democrats. Republicans hopeful about winning the Gopher State.
President Trump was very close in Minnesota. It's a 4-point race. We know with the right candidate, we will be successful.
Republicans are optimistic that Democrats will nominate controversial candidates.
Well, if I didn't know better, I would say that some of these folks are Republican plants. They're clearly from the loon wing of the Democratic Party.
Republicans are rooting for Jasmine Crockett to secure the Democratic nod in Texas.
They tell us that Texas is red. They are lying. We're not. Y'all ain't never tried it the JC way.
Democratic populist Graham Plantner in Maine wants to face Republican Susan Collins. But Plantner has a history of inflammatory posts online.
The candidate for Senate in Maine for the Democrats calls me a Nazi, which is rich coming from a guy who literally has a Nazi tattoo on his chest.
Plantner claims he didn't know the symbolism and has since gotten the tattoo covered up. Georgia's John Ossoff is perhaps the most vulnerable Democrat. He won a runoff as President Trump challenged the 2020 Georgia election results. Republicans intend to target Ossoff, highlighting his votes against opening the government. But Democrats think they could swipe some seats from the GOP. Republican Tom Tillis is retiring in North Carolina. And in Ohio, former Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown is running against Republican John Husted, who was appointed to succeed Vance and has never campaigned statewide for Senate. Democrats are focused on your pocketbook and health care in 2026.
We're going to get it done by getting it on some piece.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're focused on rating it. They're focused on rating your pocketbook and shoving it in the wallet. Okay. Senator Bill excuse me, Bill Hagerty says he's tried to stop illegals from being counted in the census.
You've got these blue states that have situated sanctuary cities inside their states. What are those sanctuary cities designed to do? They serve as magnets. The reason and the motive behind this crime is that the census counts those illegal aliens for the purpose of allocating congressional districts and for the purpose of allocating electoral votes. At the end of the day, Joe, this is about power. California has more electoral seats than it, quote, deserves, because they're able to count these illegals. That gives people who are actually citizens a disproportionate power relative to people that are citizens in my state where we don't have a large illegal population. That is something that's a major flaw in the system. I tried to address it legislatively, and every Democrat voted to block me on it. You've got these...
Wow. Kenyan man has received 2 life sentences for a plot to hijack a commercial plane and crash it into Atlanta's tallest building.
A man will spend the rest of his life in federal prison for plotting to crash a plane into Atlanta's tallest skyscraper. Cholo Abdi Abdullah was just sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms after a jury convicted him of conspiring to carry out a 9/11-style terrorist attack. Prosecutors say that he planned to hijack a Delta Airlines plane and then crash it into Atlanta's Bank of America building. Now, court records show Abdullah is an operative for Al-Shabaab, which is a terrorist group tied to Al-Qaeda. His search history revealed that he researched the tallest building in Atlanta, which is the Bank of America Plaza, also known as the Pencil Building. It's a 55-story building that stands more than 1,000 feet tall.
China imposes sanctions against U.S. defense contractors following a weapons sale to Taiwan. Any provocative actions that cross the line will be met with a strong response from China, they say. Ooh, okay, interesting. Cuban intelligence officer explains what's being done to destabilize America. Huh. John Solomon.
An opportunity to interview a Cuban intelligence asset agent. He had retired, defected. And he went all the way back to Castro. It was Castro and the Soviets early in his career. By the end of his time, he was with the Venezuelans, Iranians, and the Chinese. Cuba always looking to destabilize us. And he said, listen, I'm going to just be honest with you. We're targeting your education system, and I'm going to give you our 5 principles of warfare. It's easier to change a young mind than an older mind. It's easier to create instability when you create division in America. It's easier to create confusion when you normalize the abnormal. And if you portray law and order as fascism, you can tear down a democratic Western society. Now, take those principles I just gave you and think about what teachers' unions and school districts brought into your schools in the last decade. Normalize the abnormal. Let's have a man go into a women's bathroom pretending he's a female athlete and let him win all the awards on the podium. DEI and CRT were designed to create division, to divide America between 2 classes of people, the oppressed and the oppressors. The oppressors are white people, everyone else falls into the oppressed class. If you divide a country along those lines and you train children that that's the story, now you can start to create the protest movement that starts to bring down the country. The other thing he said is that in Marxism, crisis is the key. You have to keep creating another crisis to create the sense that your country is falling apart. Now think about the inscription on some of the bullets that were recently recovered in some of these assassination attempts. Catch this, fascist. Fascism is anyone who believes in law and order, who believes in the Judeo-Christian society. Those concepts have been brought into your school districts. They've been brought into your kids' classrooms. They've been brought into your child's Discord chats when they're playing video games. This guy mentioned how much he spent in the final days of his career on Discord trying to poison the young minds of children here. There isn't an accident to what's going on in our schools. Yeah, there's teachers' unions and there are nonprofits that are there, but our foreign enemies have a plan, and they see the education system as the first step in destabilizing America.
Oh, yeah. Well, love to know more about the interview with the Cuban intel guy. Oh well. Border Commander Greg Bovino posting a Christmas video?
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Singing all his reindeers blowing on the range. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So hang your stocking and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight.
Oh gosh. Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel went on UK television, Channel 4, to whine about Trump and fascism.
I honestly have no idea what's going on over there. I do know what's going on over here, though. And I can tell you that from a fascism perspective, this has been a really great year. Tyranny is booming over here. You may have read in your colorful newspapers, my country's president would like to shut me up because I don't adore him in the way he likes to be adored. The American government.
And yet, here you are, running your mouth on international television.
Made a threat against me and the company I work for. And
boy, that fascism's really kicked into overdrive, hasn't it?
All of a sudden, we're off the air. And because so many people spoke out, we came back. Our show came back stronger
I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of fascism.
Than ever. We won, the president lost, and now I'm back on the air every night. We are not bright. We're Americans. No one knows better than you. We're always just a little bit late to the game. But do we come through in the end? Maybe. Give us about 3 years, please. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for Spider-Man. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Colossally unfunny shithead. Hope Waltz says she's concerned because it's Christmas and so many people are leaving her comments calling her a retard. Maybe you should be more concerned about the second part, the fact that people are calling you a retard. Maybe it's because you are a retard. I'm just saying.
The amount of like 20 to like 60-year-old like men that
like
have left me horrible comments or DMs today is mildly concerning, considering it is Christmas. And I'm going to guess a lot of them go to church on a regular basis. Like, why are you doing this at all in the first place? But it's also Christmas. Like, actually, Jesus is the reason for the season, and then you all are calling me the R word in my comments. Like, what? Actually, what? Delusion. Regardless, I'm going to read my book and go to bed early because I have to be up early again. Merry Christmas.
Boy, what was that? I thought I heard something.
The amount of, like...
Must have been a drive-by. Illegal immigrants cost the U.S. close to $200 billion a year. By some estimates. Probably more than that. Yeah, it's probably more than that.
Standing before a judge Wednesday, dressed in all blue. His first court appearance since the deadly attack police say he carried out inside a Palm Beach Gardens bookstore Monday night.
Yes, Your Honor, it's capital offense. That's the bond. I have no contact with the Mexican.
It happened just before 8 p.m. inside this Barnes & Noble on Legacy Avenue. According to the victim's husband, his wife was shopping for Christmas gifts. While looking at a magazine, Moore allegedly walked up to her, stabbed her in the back, and ran out of the store.
I was shocked, to be honest. Like, I've never heard of that before, like, around here especially.
Yeah, what the heck?
And I've been going here my whole life, so.
Surveillance video and descriptions from witnesses helped officials track down the suspect about 1,500 feet from the scene. According to this report, Moore confessed to the stabbing, telling police an internal buildup triggered a fight-or-flight response, and the victim, who he didn't know, was the closest person to him.
Yeah, I feel like
come on,
already as a young woman, it's something I'm always worrying about, and for that to be so prevalent now in my own neighborhood, it's definitely gonna probably keep me up.
Police say Moore, who has a history of mental illness, is homeless. He arrived in Palm Beach County by bus from Georgia and had only been in the area for about a week before the tragedy. But this isn't the first time untreated mental illness led to random violence in the area. We are weeks away from the trial of Semi Williams, who killed a Palm Beach Gardens teenager in an unprovoked attack in 2021. And last year, a man named Junior Boucher killed a 65-year-old stranger at the Sand Hills Crane Golf Club on impulse. Mental health experts say cases like this expose major gaps in the system.
As an adult, you can't force treatment on somebody. So if they refuse treatment, refuse to go in for sessions, refuse to take their medications, they're more often than not going to wind up in situations where they get arrested.
Here in Palm Beach County, there are several mental health resources available. We have a list on where to find them on our website, cbs12.com. Reporting.
Oh boy, wow. There he is. All right. Kremlin spokesperson says Russia has agreed to continue dialogue with the U.S. over Ukraine.
Just an update to bring you on what have been pretty precarious negotiations around peace in Ukraine. The peace deal, of course, being brokered by the United States between Russia and Ukraine. We understand that a telephone call has taken place in which a spokesperson for President Putin has agreed with his counterpart in the United States to continue dialogue. The foreign policy aide Ushakov has spoken to the US administration at Putin's instruction. As I was saying, that was a telephone call. Some of the topics being discussed on Ukraine were brought up with that, and also brought up during Putin's meeting with Russian business leaders. So I'm not really sure how much clarity that brings us, other than to say that the conversation appears to still be ongoing, but that telephone call has taken place. Just a
Wow. India is pouring hundreds of millions into roads, tunnels, and airstrips in the Himalayas, preparing for a possible future confrontation with China. Okay. Wild weather impacting both coasts.
This morning, wild weather impacting holiday travel on both coasts, bringing ice and snow and snarling plans for millions of Americans. Communities in Nevada waking up to a winter wonderland, snow falling across the Sierra Mountain region. Numerous cars ending up on the side of the roads as they try to navigate the conditions along Donner Pass. Plows out working to try to keep roads clear after more than 2 feet of snow falling in the Lake Tahoe region. Winds gusting up to 100 miles per hour. Now, a powerful new snow system taking aim at the Midwest and Northeast. A winter storm warning issued for parts of the tri-state area. New York City bracing for the most significant snowfall of the season. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation treating roads in anticipation of icy conditions.
Vehicles don't stop on ice. We'll be doing the treatment to help with that as much as possible.
Meanwhile, Southern California facing more possible flooding following days of devastating rainfall, leaving communities underwater and in pieces. In the small mountain community of Lytle Creek, residents spent Christmas morning navigating slabs of cracked concrete The road there buckling under the pressure of raging floodwaters.
Everything was flooded. It was insane. Like, cars had to stop in the middle.
In the desert, drivers had to abandon cars to save themselves. This driver escaped just in time.
They had to get a rescue, like a lifeline, you know? And they were standing on the roof of their vehicle.
Rain overtook entire neighborhoods in Wrightwood. Floods there shifted the earth, sealing off homes, some nearly to the roof, caked in mud. Roads washed away all of the system's snarling travel as the holiday crush is set to begin.
We are expecting busy and hoping we get through things quickly.
Today's expected to be one of the busiest air travel days, with nearly 3 million passengers flying and even more over the weekend.
Our teams are ready to execute. We're fully staffed. We have a lot of new initiatives this year, which we're really, really excited about. Some of those being the family lanes, the military lanes, the shoes on policy.
The panettone is a Christmas staple here in Italy and around the world. We visited the iconic Roscioli bakery in Rome to see how it's made. The secret, says Giulio, is this living sourdough starter. It's a culture of wild yeast they've been nurturing for decades.
Neato.
It's used to make this dough, which is then mixed with flour.
And this has to mix for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Why does it have to mix for so long?
Because it needs really time to put all the ingredients.
As the dough mixes, Giulio adds butter and egg yolks.
So at what
yum.
point do you start sticking your finger in and tasting the batter?
I'm not going to taste it. I'm going to touch to keep the temperature under control.
Okay.
At the end, I'm going to taste it.
Then it's time to add more flavor. In this case, pieces of chocolate.
If this part of the mix is not mixed right, we're going to throw away everything.
The mix is then cut and weighed by hand, placed in molds, topped with a sweet glaze and powdered sugar before it goes into the oven. Once done, the panettone have to be turned upside down as they cool to stop the panettone from collapsing on itself, preserving the airy, fluffy texture.
All right.
That's pretty neat.
You gonna try it with me?
Yes, of course. We're going to try together.
It's really good.
Fancy. I'm gonna have to look out for some of that. Panettone. Okie dokie. Oh no. Oh hell no. Jasmine Crockett reveals none other than Kamala Harris played a key role in her Jasmine's choice to run for Senate. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
I've talked to the vice president. I mean, I wasn't gonna make this decision without having some real.
The only person I can think of stupid enough to give advice like this.
Conversations with the vice president, and obviously she didn't just run in one state, she's running a lot of states, right? And to this day she still remains a mentor and a friend and an auntie of sorts, even though I'm technically auntie status now. I've talked to the vice president. I mean, I wasn't gonna make this decision without having.
Yeah. Caller warns of more attacks.
Joe, speaking of border states, is in Texas. Joe, good morning.
What?
Morning.
What kind? What attacks? What kind?
Hi. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Ivy.
Good morning.
I wanted to talk to you about what happened. Like I warned you one Friday, and they attacked the next day, that Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and the rest of it, plus the National Guard getting shot. They are going to have another wave of attacks, and I tried to tell the police out here, they think I'm nuts, they don't think, nothing's going to happen. They drag their knuckles. So I basically want to know, what else what can we do to prevent this from happening? Because, yeah, the border's, blocked off and everything and all, but we still got over 500 plus a million illegals in this country, and And that's not just an estimate, that's a fact.
Right.
Considering we had 4 years, all these people being allowed to come in our country. And I tried to warn you about it. You said not on your watch. Unfortunately, it did. And I wish it wasn't the case, but I'm very concerned and worried about every single American patriot and every American citizen in this country, including myself as well as you and Ivy. Trump really needs to get these people out. Plus, we got these governors and mayors or whatever in these countries, these states that are preventing them from the National Guard to come in here to get them out. And that's harboring fugitives or terrorists and so on that's in their country, their states. I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, Joe, it's a good call. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Look, closing the border is step one. Step one. Getting in and rounding up the boat. Now, listen, there's been like 1.5 million, 1.7 million that have self-deported. We've thrown 1 million on top of that. We're close to 3 million that have left. But that's just a start. I mean, there's so many here.
It's hard to say how many are. We've lost track. There's no way to know.
Never kept track.
Right. Well, especially during the Biden administration.
Yeah, nobody kept track.
But, I think part of it to see something, say something, I cannot tell you how many times just going to the grocery store or doing things. People are so oblivious. Steve and I were driving home the other day, and this woman just walking down the street in Michigan State University campus, walks right into a pole because she's on her phone, has no clue of her surroundings. It's just really important. Be aware of what's going on. If something seems strange, report it. We do have to believe in our law enforcement. We have to believe in the FBI and CIA, all these people who are investigating all the time. We have to believe that they're under good leadership and they're working all the time to, thwart any type of
two big things recently.
Us, so.
Two big things recently. Number one, the attack that was planned for outside of Detroit for Halloween, Operation Pumpkin, they were calling it. They were going to attack bars in Ferndale, Michigan, which is just outside Detroit. The FBI stopped that, and then the big bombing attacks that were scheduled for New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, they stopped that. But how many can you stop? How many do you not get to? How many sneak through? It only takes one, and then we end up having something like what happened at Bondi Beach in Australia, right? And you get people slaughtered.
Yeah, and let's just pray that our law enforcement can be on top of that. I mean, let's hope for the best, right?
Be vigilant, and for us, that means carry concealed. If it's legal in your state, I would carry concealed. It's the way it is. I would not possibly
learn how to shoot a firearm effectively, get a lot of training, and continue to regularly shoot so you are prepared.
Yeah, because you never know. You see these attacks on churches, on synagogues, and so you got to be prepared. It is for.
Oh, okay. Go. Oh, man. Yeah. Infuriating list of fatal crashes caused by illegal aliens with driver's licenses. Look at all those things, man.
This summer in
and a Kumar. Wow, you almost never see those anymore.
Florida, the illegal immigrant trucker killed 3 attempting to make that illegal U-turn. And back in October, another killed in a truck driving incident. In California, they've seen a number of incidences, to include in Ontario, where 3 were killed. And just last month, you had in Oregon another horrific incident that killed 2 after a truck jackknife. And then just weeks ago in Tennessee, a Chinese national kills one by causing a deadly multi-vehicle pileup. In Washington State, you had an illegal immigrant trucker failed to decelerate and killed 1. And what's crazy is in those last 2 incidences, the Chinese illegal truck driver and the Indian illegal truck driver, those crossed in 2023 in Lukeville, Arizona. This summer in Florida, the illegal immigrant trucker killed 3 attempting.
Out of control, man. Just look how far apart the things are spreading. Washington State, Ontario, Canada, Fort Pierce, Florida. They're everywhere. All right. Netflix pays $50 million plus to the Obamas to produce propaganda. Oh yeah, you bet. Not only do they pay that, they pay more.
On January 5th, following a briefing by IC leadership, intelligence community leadership, on Russia hacking during the 2016 presidential election, let me put my glasses on so I can look at it from distance. President Obama had a brief follow-on conversation with FBI Director Jim Comey and Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates. Remember Sally Yates?
Oh, yeah.
In the Oval Office. Vice President Biden and I were also present. President Obama began the conversation by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by intelligence and law enforcement communities, quote, by the book. The president stressed he's not asking about initiating or instructing anything from a law enforcement perspective. He reiterated that our law enforcement team needs to proceed as it normally would, by the book. Do you believe that? I would read that paragraph to mean to document the exact opposite. That President Obama was manipulating the process with his cronies, Jim Comey, Sally Yates, Joe Biden, and Susan Rice, as it relates to Russia involvement in our elections, and more specifically, the targeting of President Trump. Because from a national security perspective, the email goes on, however, President Obama said he wants to be sure that as we engage with the incoming team, we are mindful to ascertain if there are any reason that we cannot share information fully as it relates to Russia. The president asked Comey to inform him if anything changes in the next few weeks that should affect how we share classified information with the incoming team. Comey said he would. Why would Rice write that email 2.5 weeks later, but then the cover, there you know what's? Further confirmation that President Obama needs to be investigated about the dossier.
Yep. Oh, wow. On this day in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed.
Good evening, I'm Harry Smith, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Merry Christmas. Just before the Kremlin cameras clicked on today, Mikhail Gorbachev said to himself, quote, "When you have to go, you have to go." He then officially resigned as president of the Soviet Union and turned over the nuclear codes to the new top man, Russia's Boris Yeltsin. You are looking at a live shot of the Russian flag flying tonight over the Kremlin. Tom Fenton begins our coverage of this historic day.
Tonight, the red flag was taken down from the Kremlin, where it has flown since the 1917 revolution. The Soviet Union it symbolized is now dead. In its place, they raised the flag of Boris Yeltsin's Russia. Mikhail Gorbachev, the eighth and last ruler of the communist empire founded by Lenin, announced he was quitting. He appeared sad and broken, but hoped history would give him credit.
Society has been granted its freedom, has been politically and spiritually unchained, and that's our biggest achievement.
The world, too, benefited when Gorbachev appeared on the scene.
The Cold War is over. The arms race has been stopped, along with the insane militarization of the country that has distorted our economy, our mentality, and morality.
It's the former Soviet Union that is now in trouble. Gorbachev acknowledged that he has left the country in a dangerous state.
Wow.
The old system has crumbled before the new one has begun to work, and the crisis in society has become greater. I know of the dissatisfaction with the current situation, the bitter criticism of the government, and of my own performance.
In many respects, the living conditions of the Russians are now worse than when Gorbachev took over.
Yep. Trump expected to host Ukrainian President Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago on Sunday. Seek agreement on the peace plan. Will it finally happen? Okay, Doug Collins on what was accomplished for veterans in 2025.
Hey everybody, it's Doug. 2025 has been an amazing year for veterans. Under President Trump's leadership, we have been transforming VA from a bureaucratic organization to a service organization where the veterans come first in everything that we do. This has helped us improve customer service and convenience for veterans across the VA. We've taken thousands of employees off of remote work and brought them back into the office where they can work better as a team. And since then, our performance has improved. This year, we've reduced the backlog of veterans waiting for VA benefits by 57%, and we also totally eliminated the backlog of veteran family members waiting for VA health care. We've opened 20 new healthcare facilities across America, expanding care to veterans close to home. We've increased convenience by offering veterans more than 1 million appointments outside the regular normal operating hours. And we've provided veterans more healthcare choices by giving them access to community care when it's in their best medical interest. For dependents dealing with the loss of a deceased veteran or service member, we created a white glove service to help them get the VA support and compassion they deserve in their time of need. The woke social justice programs, green energy boondoggles of the last administration, they're gone. Instead, we're solely focused on things that will better serve veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors. We've terminated union contracts for most collective bargaining unit employees and redirected millions in wasteful union spending back to veterans. VA housed more than 50,000 homeless veterans in fiscal year 2025, but let me just say, there's much more to be done there. So we are hard at work implementing President Trump's executive order to establish the National Center for Warrior Independence for homeless veterans in the West Los Angeles VA Medical Center. The last administration left VA electronic health records modernization effort nearly dormant for 2 years. Well, not really dormant, they just put it on hold. We're reviving this crucial project and rolling it out in 13 sites in 2026. 2025 was an amazing year at the VA, but it's just a preview of things yet to come. I want to say this from my heart. To our VA employees, it's been a long year, a lot of change, but I want to thank you for your hard work and your dedication. And to Americans veterans, thank you for your service. And please never forget, the VA only exists because of you. We're here to serve you. God bless you in this year and in many more years to come.
Oh, God. Congresswoman Sheila Terfilos McCormick photoshopped out the yellow diamond that she was accused of buying with stolen FEMA funds. Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. Wow. Wow. Beautiful footage. Oh, man, yeah. Heard about this one. 2 Walmart employees fired after wrongly accusing a customer of shoplifting, a customer who'd already paid. After searching through all of her items, the accusation was proven false.
So I got stopped coming out of Walmart, walking out with my cart. They pulled me back here and they come to this room area and they're saying that I didn't pay for something. Everything in my cart was scanned for and paid for. I did it with the gun because there was 20,000 people in line. So they're saying I didn't pay for something. They took my ID and were trying to take me in a room and everything here has been paid.
You should have 3 spaghetti.
You guys treat everybody like this?
Ma'am, we have treated you with utmost respect.
You drug me through Walmart like I stole, and you said go to the room and give her my ID.
I asked you to come with us up to the
Okay,
service.
well, I'm just putting you on for my protection.
No one is threatening.
This is the most embarrassing thing ever when you come to Walmart and come here every day and spend hundreds of dollars. I spend hundreds of dollars in the store a week.
Ma'am, we are trying to do this.
Yes,
please.
okay, so finish.
You are free to record. However, you do not need to sit here and give us commentary. 3.
I'm not a thief. I'm a Christian.
Said anything about me?
You did, because you pulled me back here like I stole something. This is the most embarrassing thing.
076.
076.
Hooks on there, stripes on there.
Wow.
2 double sweet cakes.
Yep. How many?
You'd think, like, at some point, maybe halfway down the list, it would become obvious to them. Like, oh, these.
PSB.
Good Lord Almighty.
3 of those.
Okay.
And refresh.
That's it. You got the eggs? That's it? All right. This on the bottom has not been scanned, ma'am.
No, they were scanned. I did scan them on the gun. I did scan them. She just told you. She's showing you. I scanned them, sir. Apology.
Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I said everything was scanned.
Thank you. I would like an apology. Can I get an apology? And I'm getting a.
Wow.
So I got stopped coming out of Walmart, walking out with my cart. They pulled me back here and they come to this room area and they're saying that I didn't pay for something. Everything in my cart was scanned for and paid for. I did it with the gun because there was.
Yes. They got fired, huh? They both got fired. Ooh. Must have violated some kind of policy doing that. Man was rescued Thursday night from Ventura River, northwest of LA, after it rose 7 feet in just 5 hours.
Parts of California are still reeling from days of heavy wind and rain. You can see here one man being rescued from the Ventura
they had to haul out a crane. Holy.
River northwest of Los Angeles after it rose 7 feet last night in just.
Yikes. Oh, God, no. In 2026, a surge of politicians' kids are running for office. Nepo babies are doing Nepo baby stuff. Surprise, surprise. Who are these fucking people? A Bush? Is that a Bush I see? Yep, Jonathan Bush, nephew and cousin of the 2 Bush presidents. Angus King, Democrat, son of independent Senator Angus King, and Democrat Hannah Pingree, daughter of Rep. Kelly Pingree of Maine. Nope, never heard of that one. Most Americans don't plan to attend New Year's Eve parties. The majority say they'll be watching the Stranger Things finale instead. It's hilarious. I'll be watching it.
New Year.
I mean, I'll be going to a New Year's Eve party too. I'll be watching finale later.
New Year's is always exciting here in New York City. Many Americans say they plan on avoiding New Year's parties at all costs. A new survey finding out only 24% of people want to ring in the new year at a big bash. Instead, a whopping 35% say they plan to spend Wednesday night in the Upside Down.
Damn, those are ridiculous numbers. That is wild. Over a third of everyone in the country.
Stranger Things. You know, the finale's coming up. 20% say they'll be going to bed early, and 10% say, well, they'll just be scrolling on social media. Griff.
1 out of every 3 people is going to spend their New Year's Eve watching Stranger Things. Oh, I already busted out 2 out of the 3 episodes that dropped last night. New York City could see its biggest snowfall in nearly 4 years as a storm system moves through the Great Lakes toward the Big Apple on Friday.
Post-Christmas snowstorm.
You know what how I think Stranger Things is going to end? For those of you who watch it out there, I think it's going to end with the whole show having been a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Like the whole show was just a game they were playing back when they were kids. I think that's how it's going to end. Well, we'll see if I'm right. All right, let's see. New York City could see biggest snowfall in nearly 4 years. Wow.
Are moving through the Great Lakes all the way to the northeast. Ice storm warnings for parts of west central Pennsylvania. Going to be a messy drive along I-80. Winter storm warnings for New York City, which could accumulate to the biggest snow the city has seen in nearly 4 years. Watch as it rolls on through. Again, messy travel. Could be a mix from Philly to Baltimore. Accumulating snow will mean reduced visibility, rough conditions, as well as flight delays right through the overnight hours before this starts to wind down overnight. Post-Christmas snowstorm moving through the Great Lakes all the way to the northeast. Ice storm.
Yikes. UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan arrives in Pakistan. Oh, are they they're shooting off cannons and stuff? Cute. All right. Minnesota leftist judge overturned a Somali fraud verdict, a guilty verdict, which was unanimous. The judge didn't even say the fraud didn't happen. What?
Big reversal in a $7.2 million fraud case in Hennepin County. The judge has thrown out the
on what grounds?
Jury's guilty verdict.
This wasn't some technical hiccup. These fraudsters, Abdel Yusuf and Lul Ahmed, were convicted on 6 counts of charges, months of evidence, a jury that deliberated for hours, all erased in one ruling.
Yusuf and his wife Lul Ahmed were charged with stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money through Medicaid overbilling in a personal care assistant or PCA scam. The couple allegedly spent tens of thousands of the fraud money.
And here's the part that rattled people inside the system. The judge didn't say the fraud didn't happen. She said the state couldn't prove who was responsible, which raised this question on everyone's minds. If a case this obvious can't hold, what happens to the rest? Because this ruling hit while Minnesota is already buried under billion-dollar fraud scandals, overseas money trails, and growing federal probes into how taxpayer money keeps disappearing. And here's the twist most people missed. Once that verdict collapsed, the issue stopped being one defendant. It became about whether Minnesota's system can still enforce fraud at all, or whether the feds are stepping in because the state no longer can. And that's where this story really starts. Here's why this case collapsing came out of nowhere and was shocking for most people. This wasn't a messy jury split or a hung panel. It was a unanimous guilty verdict, and that's because all the facts were on the prosecution's side. The fraudulent couple had a home health care business that barely existed, and billing Minnesota's Medicaid program for services that either weren't documented or never happened at all. But that wasn't all.
The jury heard evidence that he ran his home health care company, Promise Health, out of a mailbox at a Central Avenue address where multiple other home health care companies were supposedly located.
And what's more, they followed the money and found a whole lot of it in Abdulfatah's accounts. Over $1 million moved from the business into personal accounts. Nearly $400,000 withdrawn in cash. You might be thinking, what could they have possibly needed that much money for? Well, according to prosecutors, they splurged it on luxury purchases, mansions, luxury vacations, a lifestyle that stood out immediately because it didn't exactly line up with their paycheck.
The files documenting spending sprees in which defendants, get this, took taxpayer money that was obviously meant to feed hungry kids during the pandemic, and instead they used it to buy fancy cars, property, jewelry.
And when jurors heard all that evidence, it only took them a few hours to reach a verdict. The jury foreperson later said this about the case.
It was not a difficult decision whatsoever. The deliberation took probably 4 hours at most, based off of the state's evidence that was presented.
Okay, let's see. Democrats push for Epstein files boomeranged with Clinton featured prominently throughout. Oh, yeah. Not a good look. And more coming. Over 80,000 migrants to be housed in ICE warehouses throughout the U.S. Oh no. Bet they're going to cry about that. Whoa. Major incident. Multiple vehicles involved in fiery crash on Nitsu Expressway in Japan. What the? Whoa. Dang, buddy. Whoa. Grocery store in St. Paul, Minnesota says it's experienced a 75% drop in customers since ICE started its immigration crackdown December 1st. Oh, they're done.
In this back room at Buy More Mercado in St. Paul,
this is what we have been including in the other groceries.
Vanessa Muchaka and her team are busy taking grocery orders and bagging them up for delivery.
We've seen a big decline in our sales.
She started doing this weeks ago when customers stopped showing up over concerns they'd run into ICE agents even if they're here legally. The store put this sign on the front door to ease anxiety, but it hasn't really helped.
There's people that are just scared just to be detained for whatever reason.
That's why the store now takes orders over the phone and online. After that, a runner does the shopping, then rings it all up. And volunteers drop everything off at the customer's door. And if they can't pay, it's all free thanks to the nearly $8,000 raised on GoFundMe.
Every Christmas time, it was very busy. Now it's very empty.
Owner Ramiro Hernandez says
it was busy, now it's not so busy.
His store is usually more crowded this time of year, but fear, he says, drove customers away.
I'm only here more than 40 years.
More than 40 years, I think he said, and he can't speak English at all.
I haven't heard anything like that is happening now.
40 years.
I made me feel very sad.
Okay, help me put the chicken over there on the table.
As for why this is so important to Vanessa,
because I've been through it. I had my partner taken away when it was the 2014. So I was single with 4 kids. I was not expecting that at all.
But there's another reason.
Wah.
We're humans. It's just humanity.
Go be human back wherever it is you came from. Two hospitalized after ICE officers shoot driver during operation in Maryland. Whoa. What happened here? Oh, someone who drove a vehicle towards them while fleeing an immigration enforcement operation, resulting in a crash that injured his passenger. Oopsie. Okay, so they approached the vehicle, told him to turn off the engine. When he refused to comply and threatened to harm agents, federal officials drew their weapons. Driver refused and attempted to flee, then weaponized his vehicle and began ramming his van into several ICE vehicles. He then drove his van directly at ICE officers, attempting to run them over. And of course, they shot his ass. No, that's old. Ilhan Omar doing Ilhan Omar stuff. Ex-War Department official warns terrorists may one day aerosolize fentanyl. Praises Trump move. Well, I mean, Russia did that shit fucking like decades ago. Can't be that hard. Oh, well, yeah, they actually mention it. They mention the incident. Former WMD official David Lassiter noted that Russian security forces back in 2002 accidentally killed 130 hostages during a Chechen terrorism incident when they pumped a gaseous form of fentanyl into a theater, hoping to knock them all out, I guess. Or, you know, overdose them to death. Maine suspends Medicaid payments to Somali charity after audits uncover more than $1 million in fraud. How many times is this going to have to happen? Democrats have been shocked by the strength of Trump's economy. Well,
I personally believe that we're headed towards a shutdown.
Oh, another one?
The deadline is, of course, going to be at the end of January. I don't know how we're going to avoid it. So, again, I don't look at this as being partisan. I look at this
that's funny.
As there's just one group of people that could care less about doing what they're supposed to do, which is to govern. So, we went back into session.
What would that group of people be? Congress people?
So, we went back into session. Oh, this is working. We went back into session on, I don't even remember the date, but we went back, finally opened the government back up, and the whole deal for a shutdown, just so that we're all level setting, is that we have 12 appropriations bills. Those bills are supposed to be passed by September 30th. Once you pass your appropriations bills, there is no question about whether or not you're going to be open. So here it was, we were shut down and the House was not in session at all, which meant that we could not even start to gradually reopen the government. Instead, we stayed out, nothing could happen, and they finally voted to reopen the government with a temporary continuing resolution. That resolution will run out on January 31st. Since we've reopened the government, we have not passed one of those 12 appropriations bills. We've not even voted on one of the 12 appropriations bills. So here it is. We went out basically October 1. And after we went out, we didn't get anything done. Here it is. It's now technically 2 months later. Still nothing has been done. So I don't see how we are going to get to the point that we end up in a space in which we reopen the government. That the government does not shut down. So I...
Dear God. Death toll from UPS cargo plane crash in Louisville rises to 15. Oh, man. 7 weeks after the crash. Another person's died. Wow. Oh, jeez. Cop gets carjacked in Seattle. How does this happen? What? You can't be serious. Like, really? For real? Like, what? I guess only in Seattle. Okay, what dis? Story of spreading unity and acceptance through the power of song this holiday season.
And finally tonight, spreading unity and acceptance through song. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
Okay.
Last call for anyone that wants to come sing over in the corner. I know you want to come.
That man calling for carolers in a hotel lobby in Nashville is Luan Hill, a 3-time Grammy Award-winning gospel artist. Turns out his peculiar notion of calling strangers together to sing has set in motion something truly special, and it's exploding. Here's Hill collaborating with legendary gospel recording artist Fred Hammond. It's all part of his 3-year-old project, The Choir Room. A non-denominational, not-for-profit collection of extraordinary musicians, people of all ages and walks of life who come together to sing, to spread love and joy in a world that can often seem so dark and full of pain. Joy is a familiar refrain in The Choir Room. As you can see in this song, Hill co-wrote with singer Ben Rector. At times, the choir is 300 to 400 participants strong.
Kind of neat idea.
More than 5,000 people have performed with the group in cities across the South.
Generally speaking.
Feeling nostalgic for the sound and fellowship of a choir, Hill took to social media calling for anyone to join.
But under the surface, it's just like kind of sad.
Just offer our little small post.
100 people.
Because it's like filling a hole in society's collective soul that used to be filled by religion, by Christianity, and it's replacing it with the trappings of it, but without the substance.
100 people showed up by a year.
You know, like
year from there, we had 700 people gathering for the choir room.
I was looking for that family, that community, and man, yeah, it's been amazing.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. I just want people to know through the choir room that when you come to sing with people, you can look around the room and you don't have to see darkness. There is hope.
Thank you for watching. Have a Merry Christmas. Good night.
What is this? No idea what to expect here. Oh, his shirt says not a liberal. Okay. Everyone seems pretty unbothered, actually. I don't see anyone that's taking issue. No idea. Behold the power of cookie.
Santa's sleigh looks a little different in Huntington, Pennsylvania.
I got 4 boxes going here.
But the presents are always the same. Boxes and boxes of cookies.
If we have an abundance, there's nothing wrong with that.
Those look awesome. Thank you guys so much.
This is more than just holiday cheer. Scott McKenzie and Jeremy Orrick have been delivering cookies across town since the pandemic when, idling at home, McKenzie decided to bake them for the very first time.
I made them. They were okay. I put a picture of them on my Facebook, and my buddy Jeremy here criticized my cookies by challenging me, saying that he could probably make better cookies.
A bake-off ensued, and with too many for them to eat by themselves, they delivered the rest to first responders. Others in town found out and wanted to help too. And Cookies for Caregivers was born.
It gave our community members a purpose.
Yeah.
They're at home. They enjoy baking. A few dozen cookies is not a lot of work.
Many COVID-era groups ended when the pandemic did, but they pressed on.
At first, we wanted to talk to the essential workers, and then Jeremy and I kind of said, what workers aren't essential? So then it became, how can we reach everybody in Huntington County?
Everybody from the post office to funeral homes to the Humane
What workers aren't essential indeed, sir?
Society.
I've got goodies for you. I think there's such a need for people to feel.
Who are saying things like that get you banned back then.
Seen.
Not so brave to say it now. Well, U.S. oil blockade on Venezuela pushes Cuba to the brink. They were already there. I mean, always have been. China's high-speed rail network passes the 50,000 kilometer mark. Oh. Meanwhile, we've got what? Like a single choo-choo train. Yeah. President has begun sharing court testimony under oath by computer experts Ben Cotton and Parik Clay, confirming the existence of a Belgrade, Serbia Dominion facility long claimed not to exist. What? At the beginning of the end. Let's see it.
If I'm remembering correctly, there were several states involved.
And which time period are you referring to?
This was 2020.
Before or after the election?
During the election.
In your examination of any of these Dominion systems, have you seen any indication of non-election personnel remotely accessing a Dominion system?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I too have reviewed a series of emails produced by Dominion in which they're discussing remoting into Gwinnett County, Georgia.
You also mentioned Dominion remotely connecting to election systems, but you don't have any evidence that occurred in Georgia, correct?
There was one county. I've seen a lot of Dominion emails. I've had to translate Dominion emails from Serbian to English to verify the technical questions I was being asked about them, to verify that it was translated properly. So
it's your testimony that there is evidence of Dominion remotely accessing Georgia election equipment?
yes, on the one county. It was included with stuff that I was researching and reading through, considering Colorado. Michigan was also involved, and there were other ones.
To your understanding, is Dominion able to remotely connect to these election systems?
Yes.
Are they able to do that without detection?
Yes.
And are you aware of any instances in which that has occurred?
Yes.
Can you identify those instances?
One would be the Denver, Colorado server was granted or requested to grant Belgrade, only Belgrade. I did search. There is a Belgrade, Montana. Again, why would Montana need to connect into a Colorado file transfer server as part of the election system? And there are other components and things that were done in the background concerning the database and the configure of the database server that still do not have an engineering change order, because as somebody who works in an operational environments for a lot of different things, what I will tell you is sometimes things break or you have a problem and you have to fix it. And you submit a change request, or in this case, an engineering change order that's retroactive, right? You want to go back and make sure that you record the process so that you have change management and integrity of the system. If you do not record changes, you lead yourself down a very bad road.
Wow. Interesting.
Is that a whole hearing, or what was the deal? That was just a clip.
I wish I could tell you. Trump posted it, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll find it.
Pretty interesting. North Korea's Kim orders factories to make more missiles in 2026. No surprise there. Oh gosh, Joe Biden is touching a baby and wishing people a happy holidays. FBI violent crime arrests double in Trump's first year in 17 key cities compared to Biden record. Iran seizes oil tanker carrying smuggled fuel on the Strait of Hormuz. Or so they say, anyway. Okay, Google's rolling out the ability to change your Gmail address. What? Okay. Users will finally be able to update their old, embarrassing email addresses. Yeah. I think I got one of those. Wall Street eyes strong finish to historic year as Dow and S&P pull back in pre-market. And then last up, President Trump calls in to discuss Christmas gifts for ISIS. What?
Every week, the pain... Drugs are down over 90. It'll be a Christmas present. We hit ISIS. Into John. And I had to save that attack for Christmas Day.
Oh.
Do you agree?
I agree. I am in the studio right now broadcasting to 1 million people.
Oh, wow. Shows. They all love listening to John and his great wisdom. That's good.
And
That's good.
President Trump, like I said to you, to save those Christian lives in Africa, because there's so many Christians losing their lives, and you did a great job.
Tens of thousands of Christians, and I told Nigeria and I told the people around Nigeria that if you do it, you're going to get hit. And I said yesterday, I said, hit them on Christmas Day. It'll be a Christmas present. We hit ISIS, who are terrible. They're butchers. And we really hit them hard in different locations, and they really got hit hard yesterday. So they got a very bad Christmas present.
And I've told people that Maduro, Venezuela, if Venezuela is going to provide a lot more oil to the United States of America if Maduro leaves.
Well, it's about a lot of things. It's about that. It's about, they took our oil. They took it. And they also sent millions of people in there from jails into our country, from jail, some of the worst people.
All right. Well, we'll stop there. We're at the top of the hour here. Serpo is in and ready to rock and roll. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed,
well,
man.
good.
How you been?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Rested up, I hope.
Yep, I'm all rested up. Nice. We're waiting for a storm. Well, it looks like it's going to blow over the top of us, really. But
yeah,
the other side of the state's going to get it. Toots is going to get some snow.
yeah. I covered that a little bit earlier. It looks like a few places are about to get hit pretty bad.
Yeah, it's weird. It goes over the top of us. That doesn't usually happen. We usually get it. At least some of it. So anyway, yeah, I've got stuff to play.
Awesome.
So
Cool. Well, it's all you, man. It's in your hands.
I'm just gonna screw around. It's Friday, day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I've got some news clips and I've got plenty of stuff really.
Cool.
So
all right.
Get her kicking.
I'll let you get to it, man. You have a good show.
Okay. Thank you kindly.
Back at you, brother.
Howdy ho, everybody.
All right. See you guys. That's it from me. I will not be back tonight. It's going to be Mr. Constitution for Doug. And I will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1 to 3 p.m., okay? Feel free to support us. It's the end of the year. donorbox.org/support-PSB. There it is. Oh, no, we only got $340 so far this month. The end of the month, man. Yeah, I'll drop the link out there. Please do support us if you can. It does cost money to run this, so. There you go. All right. Well, cool. I will leave you guys there. And I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Hope everyone had a wonderful, very Merry Christmas. Hope everyone had got lots of fun gifts. I got a few nice ones. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.